Hello everyone, how you doing today? I'm back today with another video, and in today's video we have a Lenovo Ideapad 530S. This one is an Intel iCore 5 8th generation processor. This laptop came in because the keyboard started failing. I think they spilled some water or something like that. If your keyboard is failing and one of or two keys are not working, even if you press hard on them, there's no repair for these ones. You just pretty much have to replace the whole keyboard. And unfortunately, this keyboard, they are kind of, we call them a mesh keyboard because you cannot replace them from the top, because the palm rest, the whole is one whole big plastic on the top, so it goes between the keys and it goes everywhere. So the keyboard comes from the underneath, it sticks to the palm rest. And we already have the new keyboard here, so as you can see, these tiny holes you see right on the between the keys, those are where the plastic is gonna go through, and we have to melt the plastic right over in here. This is a backlight keyboard, so there's a backlight flex cable right here. So I'll leave the link in the description where you can buy your keyboard. And in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how to open it up and how you can do the whole process by yourself. It's kind of a little bit long process, but it is doable. All right, the tools that you're going to be needing are few. You need tweezers. This object, I'll try to find the link for this one. It's kind of spatula, whatever you want to call this one. It's got a really tough and sharp edge. So I just sharpen it up a little bit more so I can cut the plastics easy with this one. You can use a cutter if you want. And the next tool is the UFIXTEK tool set, screwdriver set. We're going to be using this as they have one of the best screwdrivers out there. These are S2 class steel. That means the bits are really hardened so they don't go bad. We're going to be using torque number 5. All right, so let's get it started. First thing first, you want to power off the laptop. You want to flip it over so you can see the underneath. Now we're going to see a whole bunch of screws, and we're going to start removing all the screws at the bottom with a torque number 5. Also, I realize only a few of my viewers are subscribing to my channel. If you guys want to support me, and if you find my videos really helpful for you guys, and click that thumbs up button and think about subscribing. It really helps and motivates me to take requests and answer your questions. Once we remove the bottom screws, all the screws at the bottom cover, they are the same size and height. Now you want to grab yourself an opening tool. If you want to get the pro version of the UFIXTEK tool set, they include you tweezers and many other tools, and even an opening tool. But my favorite opening tool is a metallic guitar pick, as it has a soft edges and it's really hard to scratch components with this one. So what we're going to do, we're going to open up the laptop a little bit. We're going to grab the opening tool. We're going to stick it between the top and the bottom cover, and we just want to twist it. It should be really easy, and now I'm keeping it here. I'm going to work around about 2 millimeters inward, and the top cover should come out pretty easy. You might not even need it. All right, this is the bottom cover. We need to remove it. All right, this version doesn't have a GPU. They have a small caddy plastic to cover up the space for the fan for the GPU. You might have a GPU here, so your heatsink might go this way too. Pretty much first thing first, we're going to remove the battery down here. To remove the battery, go ahead, switch to the bit number Phillips 0 and remove the screws on the battery. So one on the front, one on the left side, right on the other end. All right, once you remove the screws, lift it up, bring it backward, and you want to pull this jack backward. So that's how you disconnect the jack. What we want to do, we want to remove this SSD hard drive right here. So remove it, just lift it up and pull it out in 45-degree angle. This one is a 256 gig SSD drive. All right, remove the Wi-Fi board, which is right here. hold by one screw and pull it out in 45-degree angle. In order to be able to untangle this cable all the way back, we need to loosen up the fan. So remove the 3 screws for the fan and lift up a little bit so you can reach this cable and pull this cable backwards so the jack get disconnected. Now you can go ahead and untangle this Wi-Fi cable right over there. What do you want to do? We want to remove these screws starting from this end. Remove 2 screws by the jack, by the power jack right here. Remove this caddy, fan caddy, empty space right here. The screws are pretty much the same size, most of them. You're gonna use your tweezers. We're gonna lift up this hinge right here upward, and we're gonna pull this flex cable for the LCD back and just untangle it from this corner here. Pull it out, and we're gonna go through here. There's one screw right over here in between here on this hole. There's a warranty label on it, so remove this screw. So I'm gonna bring my magnet. All right, once we remove that one over there, this one over here, now most of them is loosen up. So what we want to do right now, we're gonna start removing the connectors. So the speakers, pull back out the speaker cable, lift up the hinge for the touch pad here, the backlight, lift up this cover over here, the keyboard connector, lift it up. There's a little adhesive to it, so you just have to peel it off. Remove this connector right here and pull it out, bring it all the way up here. Remove the 2 screws for the hinge. These screws are a little different, but they are a little bit thicker. Once you remove the screws right there, you're going to use a flat screwdriver. You just want to stick it right underneath, and we want to lift up this hinge and bring it all the way back. Remove the other hinge, 2 screws for the other hinge. Again, lift up the hinge upward. Now what we're going to do, we want to lift up the laptop this way and we're going to pull it towards yourself. Actually, you have to untangle this cable right there and pull it towards yourself and remove the screen with the Wi-Fi board attached on it. Now we're going to remove this board over here by removing 1 screw right on the other side. Okay, now we can go ahead and lift up this board right here. Okay, next we need to remove the motherboard. Just lift it up and put it to one side. All right, the keyboard is right down here. We do gonna need this protective. We need to remove this one here. I don't know why this one was ripped a little bit, so I did not rip this one off. It came like that. So yeah, so the keyboard is right under this metal plate right over here. So in order to remove this metal plate, we need to knock off all this plastic, melted plastic right on top. We need to knock off one by one. And the way that I do this, we're gonna grab a workshop towel and we're just gonna fold it, and just right inside your palm. I'm gonna stick this one right here at the back so I don't hurt myself. Now what I'm gonna do, because this is already sharpened, we're gonna start just cutting the top ends of this rivets, whatever you want to call this, the plastic patches right here. You just want to snap them off. You want to do this all over the, whatever you see patches coming through here. Look, this one is already being lifted up. Somebody already tried to get to it. So we're gonna remove it. I'm just gonna probably fast forward because I'm just gonna start removing everything I see that touching this metal plate. Now what we need to do is to go shake it off and remove all the garbage from here. So I'm gonna put it inside the bag and then just tap it. And there we have all this garbage down there. Now what we need to do, we need to go ahead and slowly lift up this metal cover right here. Under this sponge right here, they might have a little bit of rivet. Go ahead and lift it up. Try not to bend it. Alright, once we remove the bottom cover, I see that somebody already tried it without removing the patches and they bend it, so try to not to bend this one. Alright, now that we remove the supporting plate at the back, the keyboard is right down here. The keyboard, again, it has some rivets right to it. But as this keyboard is not going to work anymore, so what we're going to do, we just want to lift it up and we're just going to snap just like that the rivet. Just keep it, don't rip it off really fast, just go slowly. Just like that. And there's your old keyboard. Again, shake it off. And this is what I'm talking about, is one piece, so it is a mesh. So the keyboard goes from here to the other side. Grab the new keyboard, bring it over, set it down in place, make sure the key, nothing is right underneath. Push down these hinges, maybe it goes in place nicely. Now, this keyboard is sitting there really loose. What we need to do is to grab the supporting plate right here. And we're going to bring it over. And we're going to set it right on top. And this next part is going to be really fun. What you need to do, grab yourself a hot station or soldering station. And we're going to melt some plastic right on top of this. So let me go grab my solder station and I'll be back. Now that we have the plate on top and we place it on top nicely, make sure everything is in place, no cable is underneath, make sure this cable is over. And we have the hot station, the iron station, the soldering station I mean. So once you have the soldering station ready, you're gonna grab any old keyboard, or even you can use your own old keyboard, because I'm gonna give this back to a client, so I'm not gonna rip anything off here. So you can grab any old keyboard and grab any keys from here. So I'm just pretty much gonna grab a enter key from here, because the same plastic is being used in here. They're the same type of plastic. So what I'm gonna do, with one finger, I'm gonna push it down, and with the other plastic, we're just gonna melt down on those plastics, so we have enough to just press on top. So we're gonna do this for every bit. So I'm probably gonna fast forward this part. I don't think you guys wanna see me doing this for the whole 48 or 50 rivets which are in here. So pretty much I'm just grabbing a little bit of plastic from here. I'm pushing it over on top. I'm just melting it down. And if you have any of them is really coming off, just melt it back down a little bit. So patch it down. So what I usually like to do, I like to hold it in my hand. So with the other finger, I'm just gonna pinch it and then patch it down. Also, if you can't reach in the middle, just place some kind of towel in there so I can push it down on top. Right, now that we finished this one here, we're gonna put back the speaker in its place. Just snap it back in place right there. Now we need to put this isolation tape right on top. The holes has to match, so pretty much let's figure this out. It has to go over here. So these tiny holes, they have to match here. So place the protective thing right on top. So let's see, this one is ripped off. So fix it, put it in place. So this is the correct position for this one. Alright, once you have it in the correct position, next is to grab the bottom the screen so we can just verify and check everything is nicely in place. I see this on off switch on this end. The delete button, it was actually down, so it's actually perfectly fine right now. We need to patch this one right in the corner. But this side, it is very loose. So we need to grab the plastic that we have and we're gonna hold it down. Last double check, make sure everything is okay. So all the keys are evenly aligned. There is no up or downs. They are perfectly in position. So grab the screen. Put the screen in place. Bring this one up a little bit. Scoop it right under the hinges. Run the cable for the Wi-Fi. There we go. Now let's grab this button right here. This is the on-off switch and other stuff. So this one has to go right away here. Just set it down. Where we're gonna put the screw for it. Then we're gonna lock down the hinge. Just bring it over and make sure it snaps in place. Where I put the two screws for the hinge right in here, they have a tiny arrow beside it, so you know which one is where. Right there. Okay. Now we're gonna grab the motherboard. We're not gonna close this side yet, so grab the motherboard, bring down and put the I/O side down first. This end, make sure you go down nicely. Goes in place. The cable is out of the way, and just set it down in place. Connect this ribbon cable right underneath the jack. Lock it down. Touchpad. Grab it, slide it right underneath. Hold it, close the lock. The speaker cables. Grab it. Put it in here. Run the cable for the LCD in there in the groove. Lock down. Put the two screws for the hinge. The third screw goes from the casing from the other side, from the bottom case. Okay, once we have this one in place, open the lock for the jack, place the LCD cable right underneath and close it down. We're gonna put the one screw right in the middle where the warranty screw was. We're gonna place the screw by the jack, power jack. There are two screws that goes on one on each side of the power jack. Once you have that one in there, grab the empty caddy for the tiny plastic came down here, so remove the plastics. Grab the caddy, place it right in a position. Put the 3 screws for the caddy, for the fan caddy. Grab the next fan. Before we put down the fan, we're just gonna zigzag run this cable around it. So run the Wi-Fi cable around it. Make sure you leave a little room for it to breathe, so it can flex around in there. And bring it this side here, a little more, and align it, put it down. Make sure first slide down the connector for the fan in place. Okay, next put the 3 screws for the fan. Grab the Wi-Fi, put it in there, put the screw for the Wi-Fi. Grab the hard drive, the SD, the M.2 drive, put it right there. Put the screw for M.2 drive. Now what we want to do, we want to connect the backlight. Just bring it over, the new backlight cable. Just slide it right underneath. Close it down. And somehow we want to see the old keyboard, how it was rotated. So this keyboard was bended in weird angles, so it has to go on this end, which is says ES530. So bend it over for ES530. I guess it starts right over here. I don't like to do sharp bending, so I'm just gonna leave it a little loose. So let the battery do the job. So I'm just gonna do this and that. Don't press too hard on it, just leave it like that. Alright, grab the battery, bring it over, align it, make sure the connector goes in, align everything over, put the 4 screws for the battery. Now we have that in place, and the last thing would be, and this shield I forgot, it goes over the touchpad. I'm just gonna quickly fast forward and open it up. I forgot about the shielding. It's not necessary, but it is good to have an extra protection for the battery if the battery heats up. So put this one right over wherever, over the touchpad, so it gives a little extra protection on the touchpad from the battery overheating. So putting back again the 4 screws. We are almost done here. Double check everything, make sure everything is in place nicely. All the RAM cover, nothing is moving around. The fan connector, the battery, the LCD flex cable, Wi-Fi antennas. Grab the bottom cover, bring it over straight, push it down, press the corners. And the last thing is to switch back to T5 screw bed and start from the corner top. Put the 2 screws on the back and 1 in the middle back. And before you put the rest of the screws, you can actually turn it on and see how it works. I don't know if this one has a battery left on it or if it has a little bit of juice. So I'm gonna power it on. Alright, so we are inside the window. The touchpad is working. So I don't know the password for this one, but I see the keyboard is working and it's typing down. So if I click this I button right here, I see that everything else is working. A cap lock and space button, everything is working. Function, backlight is turning on, is turning off. Alright, I hope you guys like this video, and if you did like it, please click that thumbs up button. If you have any question or request, leave them in the comment area and I'll always try to answer them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video.